Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Máyégún já wa sí. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í kó níbẹ̀ o. Bó bá ṣe àní Máyégún máa wí. Ó sì tún ṣe wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Máyégún dáyàrí pòlítíkò. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Máyégún. Máyégún dáyàrí. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ ṣẹ́ o kẹ́gbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Àní Máyégún làwa mọ̀ tójótójó. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Good morning. Welcome to Mayegun's Diary. Welcome to Sunday's sermon. And welcome to us to the new session or new segment where we get it cooked hot, served hot. And those who want to get mad are always welcome to get angry and get mad. So, to all my friends, happy Sunday to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun live. If you read the caption of the broadcast, you can make your own contribution accordingly. And this morning, I'm going to try manage my time and, maybe take one or two calls. But it's going to be the WhatsApp calls, okay? But we'll get to that one. We want to talk about the Nigeria rape culture. Rape culture. I need my headsets and I need to get rid of this. I'll be back in a minute. Happy Sunday to all of you joining me right now. I will.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Lórí Facebook. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Lórí YouTube. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ọba bá gbé wú.
Today. Thank you very much. So good morning to all of you from wherever you are watching from. My friends and not my so friendly friends. As much as you have your time to plug in this morning to join us, I say welcome to the sermon. And as you join this morning or wherever time you are, wherever you are right now, please, one moment. Sorry about that. I know I've had guys who say, my friend, go straight to the point. Stop doing all of this. You see, the problem with you guys is that you are completely on a wrong in a wrong place, and your statement will give you up. But nevertheless, I'll take care of you in my own way as I move along. So keep dropping that comment that says, that give you that privilege to say, oh yeah, this is what you should do or you should not do. This is what you should talk about or what you shouldn't talk about. However, for those who are very much used to Mayegun's Diary, this is us getting started. When you notice all those Buhari Dins or Buhari Didiris, when you notice all these Buhari Shukus, the Ngoziaris, the Unekaris, when you notice all these obedient fools, the humbled slaves, and the sophisticated morons, when you cite any of these Mumumadus, Bele lecturers, and the Mumu lecturers anywhere on this platform today, I have the two right here. Just mention them. I will take care of them, okay? Because there is no way we are going to do this for the next hour that many of them will not lose their temper, will not lose their mind, and in the process, they will not expose themselves. This is Mayegun's Diary, right? Where I do it according to my own dictate. And it has always been by my rules. So far, so good. It is the best rule that has been working for us on this platform. If you stray down here like a stray dog or a lost dog with an entitlement, we will take care of you. Just guys, let me know when you spot one or many of them. There are never too many in our block industry. That is why we have a sane, responsible, and clear-headed platform where these bandits, these social media bandits, are even sometimes so scared to express themselves until we push them out. And please, that you are Mayegun's supporter. Oh, I love you, Mayegun. I do this, I do that, right? Don't ever tell me what to do or how to deal with the recalcitrant idiots that find their ways on my platform. So if you are new, I will understand. And don't ever tell me, Mayegun, don't remove anybody. Leave them here. When you say that, you are actually telling me to remove you. And many of you have been removed like that until you rejoined again with fake accounts. When we started Mayegun's Diary, they thought we were looking for attention from those criminal leaders they have in Nigeria. They thought we were going to be one of them, one of those who will look for the politicians who are going to give them peanuts, common hunger, starving, idiot who have access to internet. That's what many of them believe because it is their culture in Nigeria. Do whatever you can, make yourself whatever you are not. Yes, there will be people who are ready to pay you to do their bidding. That's what majority of them thought Mayegun's Diary was all about. Until Mayegun's Diary began unraveling, then they began scared, and they became scared that they began attacking Mayegun. They said, oh, you want to break up Nigeria, you want to do this, you want to do that. Because Mayegun is the soft target for them. They are common lily liver idiots who are trapped in a place that they mistakenly call the country an open concentration camp. So Mayegun is the easy target. He was looking for attention. No, he's not looking for attention anymore. Oh, Mayegun is trying to break Nigeria for them. We know them. When you see them, point them out. I will take care of them. I am actually interested. I've not done our our environmental sanitation in a while. There is no competition. Mayegun is Mayegun, others are others. But one thing you should always screen out is that, right? Mayegun will never, ever be part of the same crook Mayegun talk about every day. That one is the only ticket you can take away from this call. Anything else is your own business, not mine. We started this platform to go after the criminals in Nigeria, whether he is whether they are Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Fulani, anywhere they come from. We will call them names. We will name them. We will date their atrocities. We will also mention where they come from. That is not so good with Nigeria and Nigerians because there is something called rape culture. The word rape is so big that a sensible person, when you hear the word rape, the antenna of your ears should always more or less flash out like, what? Rape. But in Nigeria, they are numb. They are dead to everything that is wrong, and everything that is abnormal is normal in that country. That is why you have what is called rape culture. Rape culture. Rape. Steal from them. Feel entitled. Feel free. Like, yes, I'm a man. I can do whatever I want. Yes, I'm this. I can do whatever I want. Oh, I'm the governor. I can do whatever I want. And you will see the same people who are the victim of those criminals coming back to defend them. Nigeria rape culture, the culture of entitlement, the culture that make you feel like, yes, because you are either a man, you are entitled to get this, that you are a pastor, you are entitled to get this, that you are an imam, you are entitled to be this and get away with that, that you are a politician or whatever you are. It is called rape culture. And in this rape, with this rape culture, this rape mentality, your politicians are raping you every day, stealing from you without any shame. Your policemen are killing you, extorting you, right? in most cases, criminalizing you if you can't buy your way out of their own captivity. Rape culture. You see, you will meet a police officer. This is where I'm coming now. This rape culture that Nigerians and Nigeria, not just in Nigeria, more or less like even outside Nigeria, it is this rape mentality. Something that makes you feel like when you hurt others, when you steal from others, as long as you didn't kill them, you have not done anything wrong. Life goes on, right? It is called rape culture. The same culture that make you feel like if you rape a woman, or if you rape a minor, or you rape a girl, right? It's not that serious. Didn't she enjoy it? It is a mad mentality, and I'm going to go into it. It is the same mentality your own criminal politicians also have. They have the mentality that how can they be in charge of this so much money, and they cannot even take little for themselves? It is called rape culture, feeling entitled. Can't I just get this? If you are governor, won't you also get it? Oh, if you are governor's son, won't you fly private jet? Oh, if you are the president's daughter, won't you fly all abroad? I mean, do whatever you want. It is called rape culture because they don't care that stealing from others to give yourself comfort will make those you stole from discomfortable. They will lose out on what they should have. The same thing some of you will take away. Now, if you rape a girl, I was talking to someone the other day. I said, before I left Nigeria, I never believed that a husband can rape a wife. Like, they will tell you in our culture, black man no dey rape. Black man just take what you want. Really? Take what you want. What you take should be what is yours, not what is willingly given to you that is now yours is what you take. Until I left Nigeria, I never believed that a husband can rape a wife. I never knew that consent was actually a great deal of a thing. So I now realized that only few family left in Nigeria are actually raising responsible young men as young men that respect women. You will see educated people, right? When they are accused of sexually harassing people, they automatically say, my friend, what is that? There's nothing like sexual harassment here. Is it not because I'm just touching a bum? Or is it because I touch her boobs? Because you feel entitled. Because it is your culture, according to many of you idiots. Rape culture. The culture that says, well, what did I do? Is it because I just touch a bum? The same way your criminal politicians feel like, what did they do? Is it because I stole just 5 billion? I made over 100 billion naira for my state in 4 years. Is it because I now stole 4 billion? That's why everybody want to kill me. It is a rape culture, a culture that make you feel entitled when something is not given to you. And there is always what you call the Stockholm syndrome too. Your politicians have raped you and raped you and raped you for years. How can they abuse you, abuse your fathers, abuse your grandfathers, grandmothers, rape them throughout their lives? You are alive today. They are raping you economically. They are raping you, in every strata of life. But all you could stand up for is to defend them. Do you know why? It is called Stockholm syndrome. You are so used to that terrible life. You are so used to that subjugation. You are so used to that suppression. You are so used to that oppression. You are so used to being told how to live and exist. And to you, that is not an abuse. I used to pride myself as, I appreciate so much what the people who trained me and raised me, what they did to me, the punishment and all of that, they made me a better person. It is because we are now accustomed to being abused, and being abused means that except you are abused physically, mentally, except they do that to you, you may not turn out to be a good person. But the mistake we made is that the abuses that we get used to from childhood, from home, from everybody around you when you're growing up. These abuses are what shaped you, are what made you and mold you. We have seen women who cannot keep relationship simply because nobody knows why. Why? They have been repeatedly abused by the trusted family members when nobody paid attention. And when they finally found out, they buried it. They said, don't shame the family. All these children, all these young kids, boys, girls, abused by all these grown-up, all these entitled adults who are today trying to explain away what is rape and what is not rape. Many of them were abused when they were kids. Sexually, physically, mentally. Let's talk about the endless psychological torture that we got from our own parents growing up. I never knew all these things actually come together to form a society. I never knew that being raised to be mean, to be sadist, kind of, and at the same time being told that you need to be compassionate. Meanwhile, by all standard, the training, the kind of environment our kids grow up in are so volatile that nobody actually paid attention. This, coupled with the failure of the criminals who are raping you in the country, the ones who are stealing away the future, the life of yours and your children, those who are stealing away things that could make your children responsible adults when they grow up, to respect women, to understand that stealing is actually a terrible thing. Not something you do and say, well, should be others steal too. Am I the first person to steal? The rape culture, that is how rape culture emerged in Nigeria. Abuses upon abuses. I never knew that these were things that will automatically shape the society. The leaders you see today, they came from this abusive family and background. We call them discipline. Then I realized that they weren't actually disciplined. They were complete abuses that made many of us so numb to every. That is why when you see people getting stoned to death because they stole a phone, right? They are getting stoned and they are being killed on the street. You see thousands of people feeling numb, not thinking that is a life that is about to be snuffed out right there in our right eyes, because they have seen many. They have been told when they were young, if you steal, they will burn you in the market. Oh, if you go and steal anything, oh, they will do this to you. Oh. But they didn't tell you and me that if you steal government money, they will kill you. Oh. If you steal or loot government money, they were going to stone you to death. Oh, because they know, our parents knew that nobody will stone all the higher thieves who are raping us at the highest level. But they told us, don't go and steal. So what our parents were doing back then was preparing us to a life that we are going to live when we grow up, a life of no empathy. That is why today, when they say 60 people killed in Kaduna, people read the news like they are reading entertainment news. They read it, they say, you see, all this government, government where they are failed. They don't feel anything. You know why? They were not raised to feel anything. When they say, that senator raped a lady, they say, my friends, stop that nonsense. Waiting be rape, she no enjoy am. A senator rape you. Does that even make any sense? You will see an educated person asking you, telling you that, does that even make any sense? That a senator raped someone who has money, someone who can get any girl, someone who can do anything. And do you think all of that were by accident? They were not by accident. An average Nigerian is not trained to have empathy, is not trained to have sympathy, is not trained to have genuine feeling. Go and study what I just told you now. It is a deep research that I did. And if you take your time to look at it, you will then understand what is the type of society we have. How did we come by this society where you kill petty thieves and you honor the armed robbers, the pen robbers? How did we come by that? It was through childhood when they begin to groom us. Our parents know better. Some of those who are supporting Buhari today, they are telling their children the same thing. Some of those who are defending Jaga Bandit, Jaga Wiri of Lagos, Tifnumbu, they are telling their children the same thing. Do you understand? So their children will feel like their fathers, who have no feeling, who have no empathy. And most of the time, right, the children are facing the same abuses that their parents faced from their own parents. So, and these are the people that made the society. These are the people you meet in the buses. These are the people you meet on the train. These are the people you meet in the market. These are the people that interact with you on social media. They come from the background of abusive childhood. And that is why someone who grew up in Nigeria, who saw the poverty, the suffering of the people, then he ran for office to say, I am going to end your sufferings. These sufferings are too much. Let us end it. Vote for me. I will bring you electricity. I will give your youth jobs. I will tar the road for you. I will build hospitals. I will construct schools. I will equip schools. I will equip hospitals. So, someone who came from that background, who saw everything that are lacking, then he got elected. Instead of him to then begin to build the roads, to begin to channel the money into creating jobs, to begin to construct hospitals and, spreading that, to begin to spread and fund education, to begin to do things that he saw from outside, that he volunteered, that he was going to change. Then instead of him to do that, he will begin amassing wealth for himself, for his friends, for his village people, and all those people he feels he can make wealthy for the period he is going to be their leader. He would abandon the road he campaigned for, the schools he campaigned for, the good jobs he campaigned for, the poverty he promised to end. Then they will begin to manage poverty. They will begin to, because they don't have feelings. That is why, look at me very well. I am not going to ask you to vote for me for any goddamn position in that shithole country, Nigeria. Give me Oduduwa Republic and see if we won't have intellectual battle with ourselves in Yoruba land. There are better and best of us from all over the world. In Nigeria there, in Yoruba land, and outside Nigeria, outside Yoruba land. Yorubas who can make things happen. But in Nigeria, look at me very well. I am not one of those that will come to you and say, you know what? Let us change it now. I am going to contest for, fuck that. But give me Oduduwa Republic. And when we talk about these things, and you see those who pick it up as if it is a contest, it is a battle, or it is competition, sort of. They say, hey, why don't you come back home and do it? Hello, you are there. I believe you are comfortable with it. If you are comfortable with it, that is why you will be able and bold enough to ask a dunce question like that. Come back home to do what for you? To tell you what I'm already telling you now. To come and tell you that you have a better chance, a better future in a country where you are identified by who you are, where you speak your language, where you understand the language of the other person in your own country is better than a country where you are more or less like statistics who just make up the number. Why do I have to come back home to tell you that if you have any sense that says you can get it better? But if you are very okay with what you have, of course, it is by choice. Keep it. Keep it. But so many of us won't shut up. Okay? We won't. Because we are, you see, Nigerians living outside Nigeria are better, 1 million times better than 99% of those who are living in Nigeria. Take that from me. And if you are offended, fuck you. That's your business. While your government and your politicians are stealing your money, buying properties abroad, taking your money, banking your money in different banks all over the world, Nigerians, I mean, those who are living outside Nigeria, the diasporans, we were busy working our asses out to help our families back home, to help our friends and family, including unknown people with the poverty your criminal leaders have brought upon you. Your country right now is like a graveyard where vultures come to feed on dead people, dead body. When they feed and they feed the belly full, they fly away. When they are hungry again, they fly back and feed on you. That is how Nigeria is. It is only the Nigerians living outside Nigeria, the diasporans, who are remitting money back home, that are keeping the country going. If not, Venezuela will be better than Nigeria by now, with what your politicians have done to you. We have been the saving grace of that shit old country. Many of us, and this is a fact, by the way. It's a fact. We keep Nigeria running by working our asses out of outside Nigeria. We remit over $35 billion every year into the economy of that country, while your politicians steal as much as over $30 billion every year from that same country. So who is the person that should come back home and fix things for you, if not you, who have been lost in between? And it's not your fault. It is not. I am happy that I'm no longer in Nigeria. If I was in Nigeria, maybe I would be an expert in defending the same thing you are defending. Because when you realize that you have limited opportunity and more or less like these criminals control everything, then you will need what? You will need to mellow, either to join them and begin to eat from their crumbs. Maybe. But for how long do you think the deceit, the denial that you are living in will end, if I may ask? Rape culture is like a normal thing. A local government chairman can just dip his hand in the local government's money and buy himself whatever he wants, and he will justify it. And guess what? His people will also justify that. They say, don't abuse leaders. Don't abuse leaders. What the fuck is wrong with you? You don't have leaders. You have dealers, thugs, opportunists, scavengers, scroungers, pickpockets, manipulators. These are the people you have as you call leaders. They are no leaders. They are dealers. How dumb are you to keep saying they are abusing your leaders? Some of these Abobakus of Lagos, suffering and smiling goats, they are always on Facebook trying to defend the drug addict of Lagos, Jagabandit Jagawiri of Lagos. They get angry. And I ask myself, why are they angry? What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Why are you angry? They are caught Tinubu a thief, and you want me to come and bring proof. If I give you proof, what do you go do? Those who are bigger than you, they have a dossier of Tifnumbu. They have it. What the fuck are you asking them? Come and bring proof. If they come and arrest you